Alright guys, so today we have the rules of angle, angle, side, and angle, side, angle. So angle, angle, side is two angles and a non-included side. So non-included side of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding parts of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. So on the pictured, we see that I have two angles, and I have these two angles. I'm looking at one, and the side that we have is not in between the angles. Right? If it was in between the angles, I would call it the included side. So notice I choose two angles and the side that is not in between the angles. Now for angle side angle, if two angles and the included side of one triangle are equal to the corresponding angles and side of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Looking at one triangle, I have these two angles and the side that is in between them. So for angle, angle, side, looking at this one, I have two angles. Right, I have two angles, and the side that is not in between the angles, so that's what we call it angle, angle, side. For angle, side, angle, notice I have two angles, but in this case, the side is in between the angles, so angle, side, angle. All right, so that you guys can see the difference. So in each, I have two angles and a side, but on angle, side, angle, the side is in between the angles. Angle, angle, side, the side is not in between the angles. So the homework, let's take a look at our homework. Looking at the first forward, I have determine if the two triangles are congruent, and if they are, state how you know. Let me take the instructions out. So I'm just being asked if they are congruent, and if they are, how do I know? Yesterday we said that I can mark an angle if there's an x form. So I can say that this angle is equal to this angle, right? Vertical angle theorem. There's an x. Opposite angles are equal. So I noticed that each of my triangles has two angles. I'm going to take a look at one triangle. The side is right in between the angles. So I'm looking at angle side. The other picture is marked the same way, so we're good. Now looking at question number 2, I can literally mark these two angles are equal. Once again, vertical angle theorem. It's an X form. So I notice I'm going to take a look at one triangle. I notice there's two angles. In this case, the side is not between the angles. So I'm going to go for angle, angle, side. I notice the other triangle is marked the same way. So angle, angle, side. Now looking at question number 3, I look at one triangle. I notice there's two sides. I'm going to write two S's. And I notice the angle is in between the sides, is the included angle. So for that one, I have side, angle, side. I take a look at the other triangle, and it's marked differently. Notice how the angle is not the included angle. The included angle is where the sides meet, but the other one is different. So this is not side, angle, side. This is not congruent. Looking at question number 4, I can mark this side because they both share it. Remember, I can legally mark the side that way. Now, what rule do you guys get for number 4? Angle, side angle. Thank you. That's it. Any questions on these 4? No? No. Okay. Now, let's take a look at questions 5 through 8, my examples. State, thank you. Thanks. State what additional information is required in order to know that the triangles are congruent for the reason given. So in this case, I'm giving you guys your triangles, and I'm asking you guys to give me a side or an angle that I'm missing. So for question number 5, I want it to be angle, side, angle. From the 3 marks that you need, right, 2 angles and a side, from the 3 marks that you need, you're missing one of them. You have the side, so we don't have to worry about the side. We have to get the angle. In this case, I'm missing this angle and this angle. So remember, I want the side to be between the angles. So I'm going to say angle S is equal to angle Y. That's what we're missing. Looking at question number 6, yes.
Would it be wrong if you put SR equals ZY? Or no?
SR?
Yeah, would that be correct too?
Once you use two letters, you're talking about a side. So then you're talking about the side SR. So yeah, that would be incorrect. But good question, thank you. Now looking at question number 6, I need it to be angle side. I notice I have two angles marked, so I need the side. But remember, the side is not between the angles, so I can choose this side equals this side. So I'm gonna say FH, because for sides you need two letters. FH equals IK. Or I could have also chosen this side. FG is equal to IJ. And that'll be fine as well. Right. Make sure the side is not in between the angles. Now looking at question number 7, technically I can mark this side because they both share it. I needed angle side, so the side not between the angles. So I'm gonna choose this angle, and I'm gonna choose this angle. Remember, the side is not between the angles. So I'm gonna say angle R is equal to angle D. Notice for sides, I use two letters, number 6. For angles, I can use one letter, questions 5 and 7. Now looking at number 8, I can legally mark this side because they both share it. So I needed angle side angle. So the side is going to be between the angles. So I need this angle equals this angle. Now, if I look at the corner R where I have my angle marked, there's multiple corners at R. So I cannot call it angle R. So I'm going to, if I look at the R, L, and S, that triangle, I'm going to use the 3 letters, but make sure R is in the middle. So I'm going to call it L, R, S. Right, make sure R because it's the vertex. The vertex is in the center. Now, how do you call the other angle that I need? Make sure the vertex is in the center. SRQ, not quite. QRS, not quite. Remember, the vertex has to be in the middle. RSQ. Okay, good. RSQ. Make sure S is in the middle. Because S is the vertex. So if you guys say, because it's on the bottom. It's, yeah. If you guys, for example, you guys were to say RQS, I'm going to do it in green. RQS, Q is in the center. You're talking about this angle. So RSQ is the angle that we need. All right. Any questions?